The celebration lasted for about a whole day, from morning till night. The entire Xiao clan, and even the whole continent of Doqi, was exceptionally lively. With the news of the Flame Emperor's return, countless forces rushed to the Xiao clan's residence, eager to witness the aura of such a peerless powerhouse. Some came to congratulate Xiao, while others wanted to learn more about the so-called New World. After all, Xiao and his 3 companions were powerful warriors who had returned from the New World. 2 days later, at the back mountain of the Xiao clan, only Xun'er and the other 2 women, Xiao Zhan, Xiao Chun, Yao Lao, and several powerful clan leaders from the Yin clan and Lei clan were gathered here, all convened to discuss the matters ahead. There was also one other person, Yuanhai. It must be said, this person possessed intelligence beyond Xiao imagination. He had helped Xiao on numerous occasions, earning their trust. Xiao, this time, Yao Lao spoke first after a long silence. He looked at Xiao's face, which hadn't changed much, but his sharp soul energy could detect a subtle shift. Clearly, during the several decades since Xiao had left, this man had certainly faced a life far from peaceful, not as calm as the continent of Doqi. However, as they were all Sheng powerhouses and had access to numerous divine pills and elixirs, their appearances had not changed much after all these years. Yes, 5 more days. Xiao's eyes were filled with a trace of worry. His concern was not just for the safety of the continent of Doqi, but also for the mysterious disappearance of the 3 women. Of the 3, besides Ziyin, the other 2 had close ties with Xiao, so even after enduring the trials of the Great Thousand Worlds, Xiao still couldn't let go. However, Xiao believed that, after a long time, they would meet again, and all these old grievances would finally be resolved. Xiao, your strength now is truly astonishing, the Lei clan leader and the Yin clan leader asked eagerly, their voices filled with anticipation. And the evil figure that appeared a few days ago, the power it possessed was something we couldn't possibly contend with. Now that the calamity has ended, what are your plans next? Xiao looked at them and spoke calmly. The continent of Doqi is indeed not very safe. In the Great World, the continents are divided into upper, middle, and lower levels. The continent of Doqi is merely the lowest tier of them all. The restrictions between the dimensions prevent us from staying here for too long. Senior Hun, is there any way to raise the tier of this continent, or upgrade it? Xiao turned to Yuanhai, knowing that with the vast intelligence network of the Soul Clan, he was the best person to ask about this. Upgrade the continent's tier? That could definitely enhance the spatial stability here and multiply the concentration of heavenly energy. It would be enough to tie the continent of Doqi with the Dodi continent and help each other. However, such a method is quite extreme, and few have attempted it throughout history, Yuanhai said, his face darkening as he pondered, trying to recall something. The ancient clans that had disappeared from the continent of Doqi had not shared much about this matter, though some clans didn't have a good relationship with the Xiao clan. However, with the help of the ancient Yao clan, these issues had become much easier to handle. Ah, I remember now, Yuanhai suddenly exclaimed, as if recalling something. His expression was filled with excitement as he shared what he knew. One of our clan's elders once accidentally came across an ancient text, and it vaguely mentioned that to upgrade the continental tier, you need a core item. Essence of the Dimension. Essence of the Dimension? Xiao murmured. Just the name of this item sounded extraordinarily precious, but having a general direction was already a huge step forward, like finding a needle in a haystack. The essence of the dimension is born under very special circumstances. It only has a tiny chance of appearing in the 10,000-year sea, a place far from the Dodi continent, known as the Yuanhai continent, where it is said that such rare resources are found at the bottom of the sea. However, obtaining such a treasure from the Yuanhai continent is extremely difficult, as it is under the jurisdiction of the Immortal realm, Yuanhai added, his brow furrowing. The 7 realms of the Great Thousand Worlds were constantly in conflict, so acquiring such an item might take considerable effort. All right, Xiao said, his voice resolute. We leave tomorrow. Also, send people to guard the space portal. I'll have all our family and friends brought to the Boundless Fire Domain on the Dodi continent, where they will receive the best resources. Those who do not wish to go can stay on the continent of Do-Chi. I will return with the essence of the dimension and upgrade the continent. Once the continent of Do-Chi is upgraded, it will be able to stand in opposition to the Do-Di continent, and the space portals between them will be incredibly convenient. Xiao smiled, relieved to resolve this major issue. He felt quite happy, as the continent of Do-Chi was his homeland, and he had deep feelings for it. Now that the decision is made, let's begin. Xiao knew that such matters could not be delayed. Furthermore, given the urgency of his situation, he hurriedly said, "N." Everyone nodded, especially the clan leaders, their eyes filled with an intense, almost frantic, passion. They had longed to enter that world, but the space passage had been destroyed, and they had never had the chance. Now that Xiao had returned, their concerns vanished in an instant. By the way, why haven't your ancient clans searched for the passage back to the continent of Do-Chi after settling on the Do-Di continent? Xiao seemed to remember something and muttered. At that time, the great war between heaven and earth had just ended, and the world was in ruins. Everyone was busy recovering. Later, each clan sent powerful individuals to search for the space passage back to the continent of Do-Chi, but after decades with no results, and with constant disputes on the Do-Di continent and changes in leadership, opinions among the ancient clans became divided, so the matter was left unresolved. However, the final information we received seems to suggest that the space passage to the continent of Do-Chi has collapsed, and there are terrifying creatures occupying the space, making it impossible to rebuild. Yuanhai explained with a smile. I see. Upon hearing this, Xiao was taken aback. It seemed to align with the situation they encountered when they broke through the sky at the time of the Golden Dragon King and the extraterritorial evil clan. With that, the matter concerning the continent of Do-Chi was settled. Due to dimensional restrictions, Xun'er and the other two women continuously sent powerful individuals to maintain peace between the two continents in the boundless fire domain. As for Yao Lao and the others, they stayed on the continent of Do-Chi. Apart from a few clan leaders from other races, many had not left, as the continent of Do-Chi had become their home and was hard to part with. Of course, Xiao and Xiao, due to their lack of strength, could not remain on the continent of Do-Chi and were reluctantly forced to come to the boundless fire domain. With their arrival, after spending some time together, especially with Mu Yingying's refreshing actions that made everyone feel as if they were bathed in spring winds, and with Xun'er and Kailin's guidance, everyone became more at ease. Soon, the family appeared harmonious and joyful. Seeing how happy Xun'er and Kailin were, especially Xiao and Xiao, two lovable individuals, Mu Yingying couldn't help but feel jealous. She tried several times to work together with Xiao, but it was all in vain. As for Xiao, after settling the matters of the boundless fire domain and the continent of Do-Chi, he immediately headed to the Yuanhai continent. The matter of upgrading the dimensional plane of the continent of Do-Chi could not be delayed. The Yuanhai continent, located under the jurisdiction of the Immortal realm in the Great Thousand Worlds, was thousands of miles away from the Do-Di continent. Although its level of prosperity couldn't compare to the Do-Di continent, it was still a fertile land. There were not many scheming or deceitful tactics here. Everyone was focused on cultivating immortality, and most importantly, this land did not belong to the human realm, but to the territory governed by the Immortal realm. Among the 7 realms, territorial disputes were fierce, and each realm harbored deep hatred for the others. However, these issues were no challenge for Xiao. His reputation had slowly spread across the Great Thousand Worlds, and after some maneuvering, Xiao secretly arrived at this continent. Of course, this was also thanks to the top powers from the various realms, who, wary of the extraterritorial evil clan, had neglected their management of the lower realms. SSS. This sect is really strange, to be built in the center of the sea? Xiao felt frustrated at this moment. Standing on a rocky shore by the sea, he watched the misty sea in front of him as the slightly salty sea breeze and waves hit him. According to the information from Yuanhai, the essence of the dimension existed on this continent, and because of the sea, Xiao spent 10 days searching the continent before confirming this location. The essence of the dimension was very likely to be in this sea area, and since this sea area was controlled by an immortal sect, Xiao decided to stay here. This brother. Seeing the heat in your eyes, you must be someone who wants to cross the sea and join the Immortal Sect, right? Soon, a few fishing boats arrived at the shore. Among them were some enthusiastic middle-aged men, grumbling as they approached, appearing friendly and quickly striking up a conversation with Xiao. In the Seven Realms, except for special realms like the Ghost Realm and Monster Realm, the inhabitants of other realms were mostly human. The only difference was the rulers, so no one was particularly surprised by Xiaoyan's presence. Yes, old man. I wonder if you could tell me more about this sea domain Immortal Sect? Xiaoyan nodded, feigning a serious inquisition. There was no helping it. Xiaoyan hadn't changed his appearance in a long time, and now he appeared to be a young man of around 30. With his surging inner power, he appeared to these fishermen, whose strength was around the one-star Do Xian level, as a youthful and energetic lad. To be honest, the Sea Domain Immortal Sect is the strongest sect in the Yuanhai continent. No one knows how many disciples or immortals are within, but every time the continent faces a disaster, immortals from the sect always step in to resolve the crisis. That's why this sea area is revered and worshipped by countless people. The reason they set up their headquarters in the center of the sea, according to legend, is to help those worldly beings burdened by love and worldly troubles. When it comes to the immortal realm, the fisherman's old eyes couldn't help but light up with longing. The immortal realm. What is it? Xiaoyan was a bit taken aback. Over the years, he had been to both the monster realm and the ghost realm, but these two realms were vast territories, each with its own dominating continent and countless smaller continents below. Therefore, his understanding of the immortal realm was still limited to the central area of the realm. The immortal realm rules over very few dimensions, but it is a blessed land where endless celestial maidens, fine wines, and delicious food abound. Most importantly, it's said that those who cultivate and ascend to immortality can enjoy eternal life without aging. The immortal realm is extremely close to its center. Countless people yearn to step into the immortal realm and covet its center, seeking the supreme path of the great thousand worlds. The immortal realm is the dreamland that countless humans have longed for. The fisherman spoke again, his admiration evident. Old man, hearing you say that, I can't wait. Is anyone heading to the sea domain now? Yes, Xun'er, take him to your big uncle's ferry. After a while, Xiaoyan sat quietly on the ferry, heading toward the center of the sea domain. The ferry was quite luxurious, and when the helmsman learned that Xiaoyan was heading to the Immortal Sect, he became even more delighted. I've thoroughly investigated other areas of the Yuanhai continent, and according to my sensors, the essence of the dimension is very likely to be here. However, there's something strange about the Immortal Sect in this sea domain. Xiaoyan sat quietly in his room, feeling a strange sensation. For some reason, this journey to the essence of the dimension gave him a deep sense of unease, as if something was amiss. Deep inside him, the fire spirit pearl subtly emitted a mysterious fluctuation, and waves of fiery sparks spread outward. At that moment, the power within Xiaoyan's body quietly crouched down. Though the power released by the fire spirit pearl was not overly strong, it made Xiaoyan's body tremble involuntarily, and waves of chill ran through his heart. What is this fluctuation? Xiaoyan was stunned. The only other treasures capable of releasing such a force were likely other powerful spiritual pearls or items of the same level. Vroom vroom. Suddenly, the Baxia scale on Xiaoyan's body erupted, like a protective barrier against the power of the fire spirit pearl. Baxia scale is related to the Baxia Dragon King, so this place? Xiaoyan's gaze unconsciously deepened, his shock profound. It seems this journey is more worthwhile than I expected. The sound echoed, and the large ferry calmly continued toward the sea domain's center. Little brother, we've arrived. Up ahead is the Immortal Sect of the sea domain. It's said that a mysterious force in the sea domain prevents anyone from crossing. You can try if you wish. The ferry's helmsman spoke to Xiaoyan. Thank you, old man. As he spoke, Xiaoyan leapt into the air, his feet skimming the surface of the water as he moved quickly, leaving behind a heavy gold card that disappeared in an instant. Helmsman, it's 1,000 gold coins. Someone carefully checked and exclaimed in surprise. Heh, This guy must be someone who hides his true strength. The fairy's helmsman nodded slightly. 1,000 gold coins was not a small amount for them either. The vast sea domain stretched endlessly, its pale blue surface shimmering under the light. But no matter how Xiao moved, he couldn't enter the interior. Strange. It feels like I'm just circling around? After 10 minutes, Xiao stopped, his gaze fixed on an island standing tall in the sea. The island exuded a celestial aura, quite captivating. Whoosh whoosh. Just as Xiao hesitated, the water surface suddenly erupted with a series of dazzling waves, forming a surging giant wave rushing toward him. The wave wasn't made of water alone. It contained traces of green liquid, amplifying its terrifying power. Is this a fluctuation of a formation? Moments later, feeling the force, Xiao Baxia scale began to flicker, its power slowly responding. Under the influence of this power, the green water wave shattered, and a passage made of green water columns appeared, leading directly to the island at the center of the sea domain. Xiao realized what was happening, and his dragon god transformation began to heat up. How fascinating! Watching the mysterious formation collapse under the power of the Baxia scale, Xiao lips curled into a slight smile, as if the journey had become far more interesting. Without the help of this item, the earlier obstacle would have delayed him for quite some time. However, the location of this immortal sect seems a bit strange. Xiao stood above the water, looking up. He saw a massive figure in the distance, and from afar, the bottom of the island looked like a gigantic rock. However, certain powers within Xiao body made him vaguely feel that this rock might not actually be a true rock. Instead, it seemed more like a living creature. As for the exact reason, it was something that Xiao couldn't covet. Forget it, I'll go in first. Having passed the formation test, this place should not pose any trouble for me. Xiao shook his head and slowly stepped into the water column passage, heading towards the island. If the essence of the dimension was related to the Baxia Dragon King this time, it would surely be double joy. The mountain path is rugged. Is this the only way? As soon as he stepped onto the island, feeling the abundant energy of the heavens and earth and the sounds of birds and flowers, Xiao heart became more relaxed. The scenery here was beautiful, with dense foliage, like a paradise, making one feel peaceful and content. However, there was only one path in the center of the island leading to the houses. Creek. Xiao tiptoed and concealed his aura, moving toward the center of the island. The center of the island was a small hill, with low land surrounding it and a steep peak in the middle, sloping at an angle of about 45 degrees. Along the way, the precious medicinal herbs made Xiao sigh in amazement. Who exactly could live here? A secluded area ahead actually has the scent of humans? After walking a few dozen steps, Xiao heard the sound of water ripples as if a pair of mandarin ducks were playing in the water. He immediately stepped forward, using some rocky terrain for cover as he cautiously approached. A faint green aura surrounded the lake that appeared in Xiao sight. The crystal-clear water made some of the energy within Xiao stir restlessly. Could it be? In the clear water, a short-haired figure was happily jumping around. Whether it was the delicate, almost dewy skin or the lips, eyebrows, and star-like eyes, this person was indeed a beauty. However, what was strange was that this figure seemed to have a faint green energy around their body. And beyond the basic skin, the figure didn't seem to show any female characteristics. Green light seal? Using his soul power to probe, Xiao observed the elegant figure in the water. A faint green pattern appeared on their forehead. Xiao recognized this pattern immediately because it resembled the Baxia's scale on his own body. Even though there was a slight difference, using the power of the dragon god transformation, Xiao was certain that the pattern on the person's forehead was indeed the Baxia light seal. Who are you? Get out. At the moment Xiao was distracted, a pair of cold eyes appeared from the lake, followed by an angry shout. Although the person's strength was only around 4 or 5-star dosien, their presence was still imposing. Is it a man? With soft, pink skin that seemed to be moist with water, the person's eyes contained a trace of anger, and they warily stared at Xiao. Puffed. Water splashed as crystal-clear waves surged, and the handsome man stood in the water, holding a jade sword, pointing it at Xiao. I have broken through the oceanic formation and rashly entered here in search of the immortal path. I humbly ask for your guidance, Immortal, Xiao said with sincere reverence, hoping to resolve the awkwardness. But since this person was indeed a man, what had just happened could no longer be considered a misunderstanding. What? You broke through the formation above the ocean? The handsome man's red lips slightly pouted, and his surprised voice rang out, his anger slightly easing. Looking up, this person clearly had the appearance of a delicate woman. Rosy, fair skin, short hair, and striking features, an attractive figure, but alas, he was a man. However, Xiao naturally didn't care about this person. As long as he could lead him to the essence of the dimension, that was enough. My friend, please follow me to meet the sect master. The handsome man quickly withdrew his offensive posture and led Xiao up the mountain. The green light seal on his forehead also glowed with a warm light. Xiao said nothing, following him up. However, his instincts told him that something had happened here, and it was highly likely related to the so-called Baxia. The Baxia Dragon King, a peak power of water attributes. If Xiao could obtain its full power, his strength would undergo a qualitative leap. The two remained silent during the journey, but fortunately, through Xiao inquiries, he learned that the odd appearance of this handsome man was due to a peculiar cultivation technique. Indeed, the great thousand worlds were full of wonders. At the top of the small mountain peak at the center of the island, the small forest outside the houses was lush and green. Birds and beasts appeared from time to time, creating a peaceful atmosphere. The handsome young man gently pushed open the door and saw an elderly, devout figure kneeling silently on a cushion inside. His body was enveloped in a yellow robe, and his fingers continuously turned a string of prayer beads. He murmured some esoteric syllables, and beside his body lay a slightly dimmed meditation staff, quietly resting. However, it emanated an invisible yet terrifying force. The elderly figure closed his eyes in prayer, his voice exceedingly calm. Before him stood a bronze statue, elegant and graceful, resembling an immortal fairy, yet its figure was unmistakably identifiable. Sea of the West, Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva? Looking at the statue and considering the surroundings, Xiao was stunned. Does this benefactor possess the sacred flame? The elderly figure spoke softly, his tone calm but imbued with a sense of profound wisdom. Yes. Xiao nodded, amber-colored flames igniting around his body, causing the room to tremble slightly. Although many questions troubled him, Xiao did not speak out loud. A green light seal, the Baxia Dragon King. Was the current sect master of this place truly a Buddhist monk from the Buddhist realm? What was going on here? OM. Suddenly, the dimmed meditation staff beside the monk shone with strands of golden Buddhist light, releasing a blue halo that was soothing and calming to the soul. Benefactor, you have finally arrived. At this moment, the elderly monk's aged eyes snapped open, revealing a long-lost power. That power was none other than reincarnation. And within this reincarnation, there was a trace of Baxia's power. Master, what is this? Xiao murmured. Boom, boom. Langer, let's go. The monk grasped his meditation staff, and his frail footsteps began to move away from the cushion. Whoosh! The meditation staff gently swayed, and golden Buddhist scriptures appeared, slicing through the air. In the blink of an eye, they tore through the void, opening a golden light gate. Whoosh! The golden light gate emerged, and waves of powerful energy rushed toward them like violent waves crashing against their faces, causing a sharp sting. Benefactor, please. All your questions lie beyond this light gate. The monk gestured for them to enter. Boom. With that, the three of them stepped into the gate, and the room fell silent again. Whoosh, whoosh. As they passed through the dark passage, surges of powerful energy manifested behind the golden light gate. The moment they stepped through, Xiao vision went dark, and after a moment, his eyes were filled with pitch blackness. An eerie, chilling ghostly wind howled, and a terrifying pressure from both the dark force and immense water pressure radiated from the surrounding space, causing all the power within Xiao Yan's body to stir uncontrollably. Glug! A terrifying scene flashed across Xiao Yan's mind, his brow twitching violently as the shocking sight lingered in his thoughts. His squinting eyes gradually adjusted to the darkness. Slowly, they opened, revealing a vast ocean of black currents roaring like energy tides. Around them were endless, never-ending black energy flows. The space was dead silent, pitch black, with countless evil forces and surging tides weaving through, threatening to overwhelm the mind. Those with weak wills could easily lose themselves in this place after long years. OM. 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 A circle of golden Buddhist light appeared around them, radiating a terrifying aura that protected them from the oppressive darkness and rushing river pressures. The Buddhist scriptures formed a melodious hum, soothing to the ear. This is beneath the sea domain? Xiaoyan tried to investigate his surroundings, and a bold thought suddenly emerged in his mind. Yes, Benefactor truly has keen eyes. The monk held his golden meditation staff, the tip of which rippled through the darkness, constantly emitting golden Buddhist light to protect them. They were indeed beneath the vast sea domain, with an oppressive atmosphere that made movement nearly impossible. Without the protection of the staff's golden light, even the power of reincarnation couldn't penetrate here. The surrounding dark currents surged, rising and falling in waves that filled the air with dread, the fear spreading through every fiber of their being. Could this be the Baxia Dragon King? Once his mind calmed, Xiaoyan looked up and was stunned. A massive creature, over 1,000 feet long, appeared before them. Responding to the power within his body, Xiaoyan exclaimed in shock. Its immense body stretched like walls for miles, yet there were countless crimson bloodstains across its surface. From these bloodstains, strange parasitic black worms formed faint black patterns that caught the eye. Boom, boom. At that moment, the Baxia scales within Xiaoyan's body and his amber-colored flames ignited, shielding the golden Buddhist light, emitting an endless holy aura mixed with intense burning heat. The source of this heat was those dark parasitic worms. They were the power of the extraterritorial evil clan, and this power was the strongest Xiaoyan had ever seen in his life. The scales of Baxia and the holy flame unleashed such intense hostility towards these forces that it seemed something within them was stirring, causing both powers to surge uncontrollably. How terrifying! Xiaoyan swallowed hard, taking a deep breath, struggling to speak for a long time. The scene before him was too shocking and horrifying. In the dark void, vast torrents of water stirred. Following their path, countless dark parasitic creatures crowded deep within, and an ancient, unmoving corpse stood silently. Tiny parasitic insects on the corpse emitted a constant squeaking sound, sending a chill down one's spine, as if even the soul might be corroded by them. Master, I believe you've sensed it. This colossal creature before you is the shell of the Baxia Dragon King. I am a monk from the Buddhist realm, someone who doesn't concern himself with worldly matters. However, I was once surrounded and attacked by powerful members of the extraterritorial evil clan. It was the Dragon King's grace that saved me, and I thus chose to stay behind to guard his shell. After tens of thousands of years, I have finally awaited your arrival. The monk's eyes gleamed with excitement, constantly shifting between the dark corpse and Xiaoyan. A second-tier reincarnation stage? Xiaoyan nodded, immediately understanding the monk's strength and his purpose here. Wait, the Baxia Dragon King's shell? As if recalling something, Xiaoyan's skin tightened, a sense of oppressive chill overwhelming him. The Baxia Dragon King's power is profound. After being captured by the extraterritorial evil clan, his source energy escaped, but his body remained here. The Dragon King once left a prophecy, stating that anyone who could pass through the array he set up and possess the holy flame would be fated to inherit his shell. The monk twirled a prayer bead with one hand, chanting scriptures under his breath to resist the surrounding dark forces. Without his efforts, the three of them would have been instantly crushed by the terrifying energies here. Senior, this level of power is too overwhelming. I'm afraid. Xiaoyan's heart raced, but after a moment of thought, he shook his head. These evil parasites were probably transformed from some malevolent powerhouse. Once awakened, even with their combined strength, they wouldn't stand a chance. Zhang Yulang was far too weak. Though his cultivation method was unique, he would be of no help here. The monk was only at the second-tier reincarnation stage, and even if he teamed up with Xiao Yin, they probably wouldn't be able to deal with it. The Basha Dragon King's shell is powerful enough to withstand any attack from a 4-tier reincarnation stage powerhouse. Moreover, the Dragon King left behind a prophecy, so there is no need for you to worry. All you need to do is join forces with me and fight together. The monk's mind was as calm as ever, as if he were talking about something exceedingly simple. His intention was also crystal clear. Resist a 4-tier reincarnation stage powerhouse? Xiao Yin was shocked. But as strong as such a being's shell was, it seemed impossible to judge using ordinary logic. Xiao Yin had the distinct feeling that this whole situation had been deliberately arranged. Before that, there is still a bit of fortune for you, Master. Once this is over, I'll need your help to deal with this demon. The monk spoke, and as he did, a faint, azure flame appeared in his palm, flickering like lively spirits. The blue flame, though resembling fire, was not quite fire. Yet, the energy within it was undeniably the power of the Basha Dragon King. This power seemed to resonate with something deep within Xiao Yin. It was the flame mantra? What is this? Xiao Yin's pupils contracted, and the flame mantra within his body suddenly surged uncontrollably, greedily responding to the flames in the monk's palm. This is something left by the Dragon King, a gift for the Fated One. Master, catch! Before the monk finished speaking, the azure flame leapt from his hand like a wild horse, rushing toward Xiao Yan's body. Wuru! The moment the flame touched Xiao Yan's body, waves of intense energy ripples surged uncontrollably, releasing an overwhelming force. This thing, actually... At the same time, the flame mantra within Xiao Yin, which had remained dormant for so long, began to move in strange ways. Outside the Buddha's light shield, the endless dark void also began to shift, with a twisted sensation spreading. Countless dark parasites on the Basha shell were gradually awakening. Once these parasites were fully awake, this place would likely turn into a living hell. It feels so warm. Surrounded by the azure flames, Xiao Yin felt an indescribable sense of comfort spreading throughout his body, even nourishing his soul. This pure power was unlike anything he had ever felt before. The majestic voice, which had been emanating from the depths of his body ever since the flame mantra spread within, suddenly made its presence known. As soon as the sound appeared, the old monk and the beautiful young man beside him both tensed up, trembling uncontrollably. They then immediately knelt down, their internal powers freezing in an instant, too fearful to defy. At this moment, Xiao Yin finally understood that the first layer of the flame mantra he had cultivated in the past was merely superficial. Now, with the power of the Basha Dragon King infused within him, he had truly stepped into the first layer of the flame mantra. The long-lost sensation of power made Xiao Yin feel, for the first time, that the power of the flame mantra could surpass everything within the world. Whoosh whoosh. After the blue flames healed and nourished Xiao Yan's body, their power suddenly surged, rapidly transforming into countless boiling hot water-like liquids that engulfed his body. The terrifying heat and the scalding liquid surrounded Xiao Yin tightly, causing his face to go deathly pale. His skin turned bright red as if it were about to be completely ravaged by the boiling liquid and split apart. Damn it! Xiao Yin gritted his teeth, enduring this horrific torment that sank deep into his bones. This blue flame was not merely fire, but a special form of energy that had a deadly attraction to the flame mantra. What had seemed like a gift earlier, healing and nourishing Xiao Yan's body, had now swiftly transformed into boiling, scalding liquid, stewing him from the outside. Although Xiao Yin had already cultivated the dragon god transformation, his body was far stronger than that of ordinary people, even more so than reincarnation experts. But now, under the steaming torment of this liquid, Xiao Yin was suffering intensely. This pain wasn't just from his body. It came from the soul refining his body. However, after enduring this extraordinary torture, Xiao Yan's internal power, including the flame mantra, grew deeper and more profound. An ancient aura, timeless and vast, filled the depths of his mind. This was the true essence of one of the 6 realms of the flame mantra, Master. Seeing Xiao Yin in such agony, the young man also looked worried, afraid that Xiao Yin might not be able to withstand the power at this level. This is his own path, and this is our final chance. If he fails, these dark parasites will fully awaken. When that happens, the Baxia body will be corroded, and this world will face yet another crisis. As for us, there will be no escape from misfortune. The old monk could do nothing at this point but wait quietly, his hands clasped together. The prayer beads spun rapidly, and the ancient, serene sounds of Buddhist scriptures filled the air, gradually easing Xiao Yan's suffering. Water, fire, thunder, wood. Xiao Yan's body, now riddled with injuries, was surrounded by the 4 energies. Yet despite the tests and tortures brought about by the blue flames, he did not retreat a single step. Clenching his teeth, he resisted, facing it head-on, step by step. His unwavering determination made the old monk praise him without end. Boom! A dull, thunderous rumble sounded from within Xiao Yan's body as the 4 forces tortured him. It seemed the torment was coming to an end, and Xiao Yan vaguely sensed that the flame mantra within him had established a connection with the holy flame. This connection marked the beginning of pushing the holy flame to its ultimate limit. Ha ha ha! I did it! Xiao Yan's ecstatic voice echoed out. At that moment, a terrifying aura that caused the very heavens and earth to tremble radiated from his body. It was as if each punch and kick Xiao Yan now delivered carried the power to shatter the skies. It was horrifying and overwhelming. Since it's a success, let's go. The old monk picked up his prayer staff and smiled. Langer, you can return now. From now on, this sect is all yours. With these words, the monk waved his hand, sending the beautiful young man off. Whether or not he could gain any insight from the power of Baxia was up to him. Master, please. Xiao Yan retracted his aura, the flame mantra ready at any moment. Let's go. With a swing of his prayer staff, the old monk cast a golden Buddhist light that enveloped both of them. Their bodies surged together and flew directly into the depths of the Baxia body. Inside was the densely packed gathering place of the dark parasites, the very place where the demon sovereign had once tried to corrode the Baxia body. As Xiao Yan unleashed such a mighty movement, many evil creatures in the area slowly began to stir, their heavy presence weighing down on the atmosphere. Entering the Baxia body, they found themselves in a massive circular barrier, a sealed space of dark domain stretching thousands of feet. The sinister, eerie energy made Xiao Yan's battle core surge, a coldness rising in his heart. The dark domain was vast and boundless. Dark currents swirled around, devouring the void, causing the space to twist and distort. Strange buzzing sounds made the soul shrink involuntarily, filling them with fear. This is the interior of the Baxia body, and it is where countless evil forces gather. We only have one chance. If we succeed, everyone will rejoice. In the eyes of the old monk, golden light flickered, as if the glow of Buddhist scriptures was shining endlessly, radiating an awe-inspiring brilliance. Xiao Yan nodded, feeling for the first time such a serious pressure from within his body. Even when facing angels in the past, he had never experienced this kind of oppression. Standing in the dark domain, Xiao Yan could feel countless evil creatures, composed of parasitic evil worms, quietly wriggling around him. Like ants, they were constantly gnawing at the body of Baxia. Even though Baxia's body was incredibly powerful, under the endless passage of time, it would eventually be consumed and shattered. The Dragon King's body and origin were indispensable. Otherwise, no matter how powerful the Golden Dragon King was, he wouldn't have chosen to reside within Xiao Yan's body. Looking up, Xiao Yan gazed at the upper void, at the head of Baxia's body. The void there was severely corroded, distorted beyond recognition, and at this moment, the thickest black parasitic worms were lurking. A black altar, several hundred meters in size, appeared faintly, with several steps leading up to it. At the top of the steps sat a slightly raised blood-colored throne, which stirred every ounce of Xiao Yan's power. Upon the blood-colored throne, blue chains bound a figure sitting quietly. A blood-colored cloak? As Xiao Yan's gaze focused on the blood-colored cloak on the throne, a terrifying aura, one that blurred both flesh and blood, emerged. That is the demon sovereign, a notorious figure among the extraterritorial evil clan. Red King level, blood-clad centipede marquis. The monk spoke, his voice indifferent but filled with deep dread. When his eyes focused on the cloak on the blood-colored throne, a heavy expression appeared on his face.